The Métis Nation and its leaders have a long history of recognizing and uplifting the historic Métis community in the Upper Great Lakes. Unfortunately, some leaders have recently chosen to forget that recognition, or worse, denying they ever recognized our community at all. We need to help them remember. So here are the facts. In 2002, ahead of the Pauli case being heard by the Supreme Court of Canada, the Métis National Council unanimously adopted the national definition of Métis. This definition was drafted in contemplation of the Métis National Council and the MNO's joint intervention in support of the Paulis at the Supreme Court. That work was led by the Métis Rights Panel. Its chair was MNO President Tony Belcourt. Its members included Manitoba Métis Federation President David Chartrand and Métis lawyer Jean Taille, lead counsel in the Pauli case. It was drafted to ensure that while Métis rights in Canada may be adjudicated by the court, the Métis Nation would ensure that it alone defined who its citizens were. Additionally, from the same litigation fund that the Métis National Council supported such important litigation as the Manitoba Métis Federation and Northwest Saskatchewan Métis land claims, the Métis National Council approved funds to support the MNO in advancing Pauli. Within that context, it's absurd to think that the community that the Paulis came from would not be included in the national definition of Métis. In his intervention at the Supreme Court in support of the Pauli case, former Métis National Council President and current Manitoba Métis Federation Ambassador Clément Chartier declared Steve and Roddy Pauli to be descendants of the historic Métis Nation. In that same statement, Chartier also affirmed the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis community of the Upper Great Lakes as an undeniable part of the Métis Nation.
Sault Ste. Marie is part of the larger Métis Nation. This decision will have far-reaching implications on the larger Métis collective throughout the Métis Nation homeland in Western Canada. The people who stand first before you today are descendants of the historic Métis Nation, and more specifically, the historic Métis community at Sault Ste. Marie.
Following the Pauli Supreme Court victory, the Manitoba Métis Federation President David Chartrand gifted Steve and Roddy Pauli with a commemorative rifle and thanked them for their fight on behalf of the entire Métis Nation, and commended the Supreme Court for upholding the recently ratified national definition in its reasons for judgment.
To all the Métis people out there watching, I want to say two words. We won!
Look at the Supreme Court ruling and what it means for Canada's Métis. I'm joined by David Chartrand. He's president of the Manitoba Métis Federation. David Chartrand, welcome to the show. I want to ask you, how significant is this ruling? I mean, it's been called a landmark, but how big a ruling is it?
Well, it's the first time for us as Métis people to be, I guess, at the level of the Supreme Court of Canada, and clearly to come with such a victorious decision and unanimous decision, a 9-0, I think clearly sets the tone for the future for our people.
It is a significant victory for the Métis Nation, for the Métis people, and in particular for the Paulis, who, on behalf of the Métis Nation, we want to thank for the perseverance to have challenged the laws that have been oppressing our people for many generations. It has finally thrown off that part of the shackles that keeps our people down. So thank you very much, Mr. Pauli.
These are the facts. Just because they are inconvenient or little known does not make them untrue. This is our history.